Hey guys, thank you so much for coming back for another episode of What Else Is Going On podcast. If you're listening via wherever you can find your podcast, thank you so much. If you're watching, then you know who this wonderful guest is that I'm about to announce. So I have told this story before, but I love that it sounds so poetic. So I'm going to tell it again. So I had this guest on the podcast. I had been wanting to reach out to him. And then I saw that he was on 2 other podcasts before. And I was like, are they going to think that I'm just reaching out because they were on his? But I'm like, no, I'm cool with them. Plus, I've been wanting to ask him for forever. I reach out. He answers back. So excited. Comes on the podcast. We talk. He was going to BravoCon. A couple of days later, I find out I'm going. And then I go into this room at BravoCon. I was with my boo, Dan. Hey, Dan. And I go into this room. In the words of Candace, where the Housewives were peddling their wares, this huge room. And I look up and I look to my right and I lock eyes with this person who looks like he could be the half of a beautiful African-American cake topper in his white, skin glowing. We lock eyes. We walk towards each other. The room stops moving, give each other a hug. And we were together the whole weekend. I'm talking about Kempire.
Except Sunday.
Except Sunday. No, because he left me Saturday night to go see Adele, which, I mean, it is Adele. And then I flew home to see my man. So, yeah, I know. He was trying, y'all, he was like, I mean, you could just kind of get a later flight. And I was like, why are you saying this? But, y'all, I'm talking about the great Kempire. Welcome. If we had your soundboard, we would hear.
Oh. I try not to use my soundboard when I'm on someone else's platform because I don't want to be rude.
No, I know. But so welcome. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Of course, always. Just putting it out there on recorded line. This is your second time here, but there's going to be many more. I did tell him a few minutes ago that I hate for people to think that I'm taking advantage of their friendship when they come on, but I'm going to take advantage of our friendship. I figured I'd say that on air.
Well then. All right. No shame about it.
No shame about it. I'm like, we friends now. You have another because you're surrounded by Aries. You said so. Add another one to your arsenal. You notice I said arsenal.
Yeah, because fire signs.
I'm married to a fire sign and didn't know that. And I was like, this is why, even though we feel like we're different, we're actually very similar. He's a Sagittarius, and we are very similar.
Ooh, Sagittarius.
It's funny that
They're probably the fieriest of the fire signs.
And he be thinking it's me, and I'll be like, it's you.
Well, Aries are bossy, so you appear like you're the fieriest of the fire signs, but I think you're probably the more level-headed of the fire signs, which comes across very bossy, very in control. But the Sagittarius is, based on what I've seen, are a little bit more whimsical.
Yes. And he be trying to, act like he's not. And I'll be like, nah, we are. But we are Bonnie and Clyde. So, it's that's whatever.
I bet when you guys fight, though, it's a situation.
I am the perfect wife. I don't know. I'm like Dr. Heavenly. I'm the perfect wife. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm not hitting nobody with no frying pans.
Perfect like that outfit she wore this past week.
Can we talk? Okay. I heard y'all talking about the outfit. I had not seen the episode yet.
Oh.
And I heard people saying, so in my mind, I had a different picture, right?
Oh, what did you picture?
I thought it was like maybe a really tight fitted, sparkly pantsuit with like maybe a lot of cleavage, almost like the Mugler bodysuits that we've been seeing. But like flapper-esque. I didn't have what I saw in mind, even though y'all talked. It's funny how the mind will visualize what it wants to, because I heard y'all talk about it, but in my mind, it was a Mugler / shiny gold, sparkly something.
Well, there's really no point of reference for the outfit that she wore. So I could understand in your imagination, you could not come up with what appeared.
Kempire. If I sent you a picture of the second day that we were at BravoCon, it strangely looks like what Phaedra has on in her confessional. That, you get what I'm saying?
Oh.
The see-through,
yes.
The gold. But is that what Phaedra has on in her confessional? Think back now. Think of her outfit. She has on, and I thought we had on the same shirt, but hers is a full dress. I think she gave Dr. Heaven, like, I'm going to have to go back and watch because I
The
watched it at the gym.
leftovers?
I was
Gave her the
blown away.
leftovers?
I said, Heavenly can barely lift her legs up to walk up the steps without flashing us. And it
No.
just looks so like she was going out with the ladies or even with Dr. Damon, but the type of event that it was,
A work mixer.
even Toya was dressed down. She was dressed like Audra in the champion sweatsuit. No, I'm just kidding.
Mm.
Oh, I only
That's
say
the
that because I
fault.
just heard an interview with her.
Mm.
She's a funny one.
She was funny on the show.
Yeah.
Bring back Audra.
She said that they
Comes back, I
told
need
her that
percentage.
they were say that again.
I said she comes back. I need a percentage.
So, well, she said that they told her, they were like, we're going to have a conversation with you about the upcoming season. And the conversation was very short. It was very like, we're going to focus on Phaedra and not, she didn't use the word OG, but like the older women there, but you can appear at events if you want. And she was like, no.
Exactly. Why
Yeah.
would I do that?
Yeah. So she said she filmed so much of her life. People kept saying, your storyline is Toya. She said, I filmed a lot, my wedding, this, that. She even did footage of when she was in Nigeria, I think. They asked her, could she push back the date of her mom's funeral? And she said,
Oh,
no. And they asked her if she could push back the date of her wedding. And she said, no.
well, I could understand maybe the wedding, but not someone's funeral,
That's
not my mama's funeral.
yeah. But I think about Sweet Tea when she said they wanted her to change locations because they didn't get the permits in time. And that's why she was freaking out that she had to pay $14,000 because Bravo was supposed to pay.
Oh.
She said they told her they would pay the difference because she was losing money on the other location.
And they never paid her?
And they never paid her. So that's why she said that moment of freak out that we saw of her like 14, like what? And people are like, oh, you don't have the money. She was like, no, it wasn't that. I'm losing a deposit where I really wanted to have my wedding. Bravo said they would pay for it. And they're like, oh, well, we're not picking that up. And she said the wedding planner actually took some things off to make it less.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I heard Audra, she was like, but one thing she did say, the interviewer said, when I'm going to show you a woman, say a woman's name, tell me what you think. Dr. Jackie, she said some nice things and she said messy, very messy. And we just saw Mariah tell Carlos King, it ended the first half. Is Dr. Jackie messy? And she said, absolutely effing yes. So I just thought that was interesting.
Are we really surprised? Dr. Jackie
No, I've
always in front of all these people and blasted Buffy for her infertility.
I have always said that I didn't really care for Dr. Jackie. I didn't like the body shaming. Like you talk about body shaming, she would call Toya fat. Like I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I guess we're starting with Married to Medicine.
I guess so. I mean, we're full I mean, it's a really good season. It's a really good show. No one really talks about it enough, but their ratings have been so consistent that Bravo continuously brings them back.
Yeah.
Didn't need Phaedra.
And to me, she did make me tear up. Her son made me tear up when they were
this week.
What did you think? And of course, when I'm asking you these questions, I've heard your recap, but I want to hear it again.
But sometimes days later, I have a difference of opinion. Sometimes maybe I hate them now.
That's how
that was like the best part of Phaedra this season, but that's not enough to carry or bring Phaedra back next season.
No.
I think production, based on what we're hearing that they've said to other housewives, but other cast members, it seems as if they were chasing the Real Housewives of Atlanta ratings, and they did not get that this season.
No.
And I'm sure they paid a pretty penny for Phaedra, word on the street. So she wasn't worth it for me. I much rather they bring back Audra because I feel like Audra can grow with the show. I like Audra's relationship with her husband that's actually a doctor.
Yes.
She's married to medicine.
Yes.
And she's a younger demographic. She would probably vibe very well with Sweet Tea. I want to see that.
She said she likes her. She said she met up with Sweet Tea and she really likes her and she feels bad for Sweet Tea and what she's going through. And she said that the women, it was so interesting, Kempire, to watch. I'm going to send you the link just to hear her give her story today and then watch Mariah with Carla. And some of the things that they said were very similar, but she said that there was not a welcoming environment created by the women. She just felt it was like they wanted the OGs. And if you were there, okay, like we're going to give it to you. And it takes me back to Dr. Heavenly talking about Sweet Tea saying, we're going to haze you. We're going to haze you. But if you can make it through it. And I don't like that because to me, that is like, that colluding?
Not
What Monietta said
Well,
against
I
one
mean, look,
person.
you wouldn't expect that of these professional women, black women that have come up in an industry where they were not welcomed and
Right.
really had to make a space for themselves. That's not a good example of leadership or, just it's not what you want the future to do. There's no reason for any new cast member to be hazed on a reality show about people in the medical profession. I don't know if that's what you
Mm,
do to residents coming up. You shouldn't be because that might
right.
turn them off completely to the profession. But I believe them. I really do believe them. But we have to look. I love Dr. Heavenly on this show as a producer in my mind. I like her
Okay.
for the show. But Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone, you guys could be replaced. There are plenty of other female black doctors. I know there's not a lot, but there are
Right.
plenty of them that could replace you on reality television.
Yeah. Because they don't, I will say, Simone and Dr. Heavenly, I didn't like what I saw this episode because I felt like what Heavenly was trying to do. Like people will say, oh, she's jealous. She's trying to drive a further wedge between Jackie and Simone. I can see that, but I also felt like I was watching her produce the
Mm,
scenes for some drama when she was saying, like, Hilton Head, you didn't think about that. And she kept coming at Simone, like she wouldn't let it go. And then my favorite, I like when Dr. Simone gets raw sometimes.
mm,
When she said, when she was talking to Jackie,
mm.
and Heavenly inserted herself and she said, you better shut your effing guard dog or tell your
No,
guard
you
dog
should,
to shut her.
you should get your bulldog.
Yeah, yeah,
Get your bulldog. But
yeah.
that should have been that was one of those moments because I know the audience has said for a very long time that Dr. Jackie uses Heavenly to speak
Yes.
shade in her mind. But that was a clear moment. That's where you should have shut Heavenly down. Let me speak on it because obviously you did have an issue. You're saying Curtis doesn't want to come, and if he's not
Yeah.
coming, I'm not coming. So speak your mind. And
Yeah.
honestly, that is probably part of the reason why Simone doesn't see it for Dr. Jackie anymore. And maybe they
Yes.
have a friendship because of the years, but it's not what it used to be. And it's probably because of that. She's probably like, you're a different person now that we're on this reality show and you have all these opportunities.
Yep. And
And
Heavenly,
yeah. And
do
Heavenly
you?
knows what she's doing. Heavenly will admit it during her
Yes.
recap that I showed up and I needed to produce a scene.
And to me, I get that, but it's like at what cost? Their friendship honestly really suffered. Now it was up to them to not let you come in between, but I think their friendship suffered. But do you remember at BravoCon, Dr. Simone had the mic and the moderator asked them a question, and Dr. Simone turned to Dr. Jackie and said, I wish she would speak up on camera.
Yeah.
So basically, she says everything behind the scenes, but I do think she has Heavenly speak up on her behalf. It was like when she was standing there and they were going back and forth, I would have appreciated her saying, like the whole, I've known her for 20 years. Well, I know stuff that you don't know. It was like, okay, I would have been like, I don't believe that Simone would do that or she didn't do that. Even in her confessional, I don't think Simone, no, I need you to stand on business and
Yeah.
say, she wouldn't do that. But I didn't like that. And there's something about Dr. Jackie that had just always rubbed me wrong. And
A lot of people.
I didn't like this.
You and a lot of people, but you see it very clearly in this latest episode. Like, no, Dr. Jackie, if this is something that you don't want and you don't like and you have feelings about, you need to express it and you need to shut Heavenly down. Be like, Heavenly,
Yes.
I will speak on it. Because the minute they start arguing, Dr. Jackie's running. Oh, we had a kids party. We had a
Yeah.
girl
She had on sneakers, so she was ready to get,
to run.
to get it on. What did you think about Toya saying, where's his dad? And then her son, oh, who? And she was like, Apollo, ma'am.
Do we really expect Apollo to show up for filming?
Right.
I know I guess it makes sense, and I'm sure producers probably edited a part out where they asked the question. So weren't you shocked that where Apollo was? So I
Mm.
wouldn't be surprised that that happened. They just set Toya up, but I would not expect Apollo. First of all, it doesn't seem like they have the most amicable
Oh,
co-parenting situation. So I wouldn't expect him to show up to film for Phaedra. No, that's not.
right. And then the new wife would probably come because I'm a part, they come like, I just want her to say one more time, "Go away from me with this."
No.
I don't know why. I just love that. Go away from me with this.
Oh my God, from Real Housewives of Atlanta yesteryear.
They were showing the flashbacks. Phaedra looks like a different
Yeah.
person. I was like, oh, not that she's not beautiful now, but sometimes I just feel like they're features and they're making them try to appear more. I mean, is she even a different color? Like, or is it the
I think she
makeup?
does some color, differences on her photos.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I remember at BravoCon, not this year, but last year, she was out in the bazaar and I took a picture of her. Just, taking a picture. I was taking pictures, I was like paparazzi.
Mhm.
And people were like, she looks very different here. Like her color looked different, but because a lot of these housewives, a lot of people on social media use a lot of these retouching apps and things like
Yeah,
that. But her color marcation was very different,
different.
very different in
Yeah.
person. I don't think she's doing anything specifically besides like editing.
Okay, but it's edited you to a totally different hue.
Yeah.
Like who, every hue. Okay, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Um, I do you feel like Heavenly had a valid point and Dr. Simone should change the location? And do you think production had a hand in picking the location and using Dr. Simone?
I mean, that's the first thought I had. I was like, well, isn't production the one picking the location? So it's not really up to Simone. I think production really, and I think they couldn't say this, Dr. Jackie and Curtis, when they were talking about it. They couldn't say, oh, I think production is setting us up. They had to throw it on Toya. They had to throw it like, oh, these newbies are going to probably bring it up. They knew that it really had nothing to do with Simone. I don't even think Dr. Jackie's mad with Simone. She's
Mm.
being used to be the person like, okay, this is going to be the next trip. And I think part of why they don't want to go to Hilton Head is because they're probably afraid of what production is intending to try and do
Oh,
in Hilton Head.
right. Okay. And the production could actually prod the other ladies because when she said, he was in Hilton Head, I thought, well, the pictures we saw were with him through the Atlanta airport. So do y'all not go through the Atlanta airport anymore?
She's triggered, but the more you watch it and you're like, oh, it's not really about Hilton Head
Yes.
specifically. It's about production. It's about the reality show. It's about Sweet Tea or Alicia, Dr. Alicia, bringing up stuff for we weren't here. What happened back then?
Right. And
They
they
don't
can't say they watched.
trigger their relationship, but at the same time, if your relationship is good, if you really have healed from it, if they bring it up like, well, we had issues back then. He cheated. We talked through it. We worked through it. We're still together, and he's in DR.
All the time building homes or schools.
Is that what he's doing?
That's what Heavenly said that he was building either homes or schools.
Yeah, me
One
too.
of those.
For his family, his other family.
Yeah, maybe they should have went to the DR. What they could have done was went to the DR and showed what he was doing
Next season, season 11.
after he's cleaned it up. These are some locals, like on The Color Purple. Dad, mom. No, let me stop. Mama, no.
Oh, I love the cover.
But I just okay. Do you get? I don't know. Curtis, when I'm not talking about this. It was almost like Jackie didn't have a say. And I get it though, because he being a hot seat, but at the same time,
He should have left it up to her
that's what I was
because
thinking.
you were the one who put her in this position.
That's what I was thinking.
But he's probably like, well, you put me in the position of being on reality television, but you're the one who cheated.
Walking through the airport at 7 feet tall, like no one would know who you were.
Mm.
Again,
Hey,
Atlanta's a big airport,
have
but
you been following the Gail Lewis situation on TikTok?
hold up, hold up. I
I
have
am invested.
on one of my I did a comment about Nicki,
Mm.
right? And I mean that post about Nicki Minaj, and then somebody said, "What set her off?" I've been busy with the Atlanta socialite TikTok scandal. I said, "Wait, I want to know about this scandal." She said, "I have to be careful because I'm close to a friend of the woman at the center of the scandal. Here are a few notes. She is a wealthy Spelman alumna who caught her high-powered executive husband with his mistress at the airport. Dr. Simone and Candy are good friends of hers. The mistress's friend group includes Claudia Jordan."
The mistress's friend group?
Yes. So Dr. Yeah. So
How
Dr.
many mistresses?
Let me see. Yeah, it says Dr. Simone and Candy are good friends of hers. I guess the mistress and the mistress's friend group, or
Oh
well,
wait, no. Because Candy and Dr. Simone are friends with
the wife.
Gail Lewis, the
Yes,
wife,
and then
who's been accused of being the mistress when she got with the man.
yes, and then the mistress's friend group includes Claudia Jordan.
Of course, I'm playing Claude.
Wait a minute, I was thinking it, but I was like, I'm not gonna.
I always say that I always speak their mind.
I was gonna say makes sense, but they
We're never going to be on TGIF.
never. Are y'all gonna reject my video that I sent in that I haven't sent in? But I mean,
Travis sent it. You should. Why not?
what about you?
No.
I think you need to start your own show like that and hire me to be one of your correspondents. Okay.
You never know. Look, bigger things. I gotta focus. I gotta build and make sure the foundation of
It's
what I'm building is secure before I
right.
expand another way. Right now, I'm expanding by touring. So
Yes, which we're excited about because I don't want to have to do you like Funky Dick Claudia and get on and say, now Kempire. No, I'm just joking.
already dragging me and nothing even happened yet.
Speaking of, can we get back to Married to Medicine? Because I was going to bring all that up before, but we jumped into Married to Medicine. But y'all, Kempire After Dark is touring. I heard your New York show was fabulous. You looked good. Brooke, look, I know that she did an amazing job. Her and I were texting back and forth before the show. I was texting you. I wish that I could have been there. Y'all look so good. I love the question that she asked you, like, how do you even have time? And you were like, first of all, not by coming out on it. I was like,
It's true. Look, I'm not out. Everyone's like, "How did you do it?" I don't hang out. Like I'm not hanging out like I used to. I also it helps to be single too, so that helps as well.
okay, single and dating, or I'm just in case I come across someone that may fit your
I mean,
profile.
I'm open to dating. I got back on Hinge. I don't know why. I'll call him, close your mouth. Close your
Because you see that it was hanging.
mouth.
I need you to date somebody in DC that way you can come up this way more often.
You know, I don't want to really date someone long distance. I already
Okay,
don't
that's
leave the
true.
house. Now I gotta leave to go to a whole other state.
Now, yeah, that's yeah. I just told somebody when you like your house, I'm learning as you get older, you don't even want to leave your house.
Yeah.
Like I like that.
Like when
Well,
the pandemic happened, I was like, oh, thank God. I'm just saying.
well, y'all, for those of y'all that are listening, if you either want to ask him out or want to see him in person and see this gorgeousness up close and you're in the DC area, listen to me. You can come to the DC show, which is Friday, February the 16th. It's almost sold out. There's a low ticket alert. So if you want to get your tickets, you need to get them now. I will put the description, the link in the bio. I'm even going to repost it on my Instagram stories. And you never know who you might see there.
Maybe we should announce it now that you will be our MC of the night.
Y'all, Kempire almost floored me when he asked me to be his NC. And all jokes aside, for real, for real, thank you so much for being so supportive and believing in me. My butt cheeks immediately clenched and nervousness came over me. You know, you have your nervous tick, like people, that's the thing. My butt just goes, whoop. But
Like, oh, should I do this?
like, but because it is an honor. You are, when I was with you at BravoCon, you were so well loved. People love you. And I will say this, I was actually talking to my friend about you. Shout out to Sashay Shantae, who may come up to North Carolina for the show.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said that it was so good to meet you and for me experienced who I thought you were through your videos, but then watching you with people and actually like having conversation, like connecting with people. So it's good to see that this person that you follow and you've seen and you admire their work ethic and all of that. Wow, look at how you built a community. You don't just have fans, you have a community. So for you to entrust me to be your MC, I'm excited and I'm so grateful. My husband is excited. Y'all don't even know. Kempire asked me the next day, I was on Fashion Nova getting a jumpsuit. I'm just saying. I had to run it
So
through.
a sponsor of the show.
Right. Yes. I had to run it through my 26-year-old mom. What you plan on wearing? The other kids. So I didn't send the outfit out to the kids. Are you getting your makeup? I said, y'all, I'm emceeing. I just, that's it. But I'm so excited that you asked me. I'm gonna do you proud.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I know you will.
I'm so excited. Y'all, he about to make me tip like, oh my God, oh my. Because you know what, too? You are outside of being who you are, Kempire, you are a Black content creator supporting another Black content. Like for you to have Brooke and for you to ask me, it's like sometimes people would be like, well, I'll ask a well name. I want to ask somebody with a name, somebody known. And for you to take a chance, it just means a lot. So I'm excited.
Yay! It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
So,
fun. I can't wait to go to DC. I haven't been to DC in forever.
well, did we say on air that I need to send you my hotel bill, my travel, my no, I'm just
um, um,
that
um,
was that was not in the contract.
madam. No.
But yeah, I'm excited because look, I was even asking Brooke, I was like, I get to like after I do what I need to do, I get to watch the show and enjoy, right? And she was like, yes, you get to have fun. I'm excited because it's Kempire After Dark.
It's different. It's definitely shout out to the folks that came to the New York show. There were quite a few people that came to the New York show that said they were also coming to the DC
Oh, I'm
show.
excited.
So, and I know a lot of people are asking, am I coming here or am I coming there? We're working on other cities. It's just locking down the venues and locking down the contracts for those venues. So we are definitely looking at Nashville. We're definitely looking at Atlanta. We're talking about Philly, West Coast. We're considering, not considering, we just haven't had a definitive date for Los
Okay.
Angeles. But we're working on more dates. It's the 2024 is about the Kempire After Dark tour. 2025, we'll see.
I love that. I let me ask you this, how it works, because I feel like if a venue is reaching out to you, then they know of you, right? So is that how that works? Like they know of your work and they reach out to you and say, come here.
Well, to be honest with you, the way that this is happening is I have a team of folks that are handling this aspect of the tour. So
Okay.
they're reaching out to particular venues in regards to getting us a show. So it's not the venues that are reaching out.
Okay.
But I will say after we sold out New York City, first of all, the folks that are helping me with the tour, they were just like, "This was your first time doing this?" Um, and they said that the folks that work at the Green Room 42, which was a great venue, they were like, "We have never seen a crowd like this." I was just like, "Why? Because we black?" No, no. No. It was such a great venue. I really love that venue. We're going to come back to New York City and do it again. I would probably like a bigger venue, but I really enjoyed the Green Room 42 just because there was food. It was a great room.
Okay.
Technology was great and it was on point. Like you could have people in the audience asking questions and they would have the light on the person. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
all right, venue.
Okay. Like, so is it like a venue where you can, it's only a venue where you host events. It's not like a dinner space where you would go and get dinner or because you said they
They
have
do
food.
have a restaurant aspect that's outside of the venue. I think it's sort of like this, sort of like a cocktail, not cocktail bar. It's like one of those like usually like, there's performers that perform.
Got you. Okay.
They have a piano on the stage and things like that. So a lot of times you have like singers that go there and they do stuff. But it's a really cute venue, great sound system. You just never know. Every venue is so different. Every team
Different.
at the venue is different. But they were
Okay.
great. They were great from beginning to end.
Um, your 2025 tour, the Trace Amigas with me, you, and Brooke.
Not the Trace Amigos. You see how they turned out.
Right. The drama with them, I'm like, and then Emily on their podcast now, like,
So
what do
is she like a permanent fixture?
I don't, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, are they making her a third? Like, why do they keep trying to make Fetch, i.e. Emily, happen? Okay, but anyway,
Mm.
there's just something about her that just really gets under my skin.
Really?
But
She's Aries, Emily.
mhm,
Oh, damn.
she's probably a
Aries
cusp.
is the Bravo
They'll
universe.
claim her. Mhm.
There's a lot of Aries in the Bravo universe.
Anne Marie,
Amory's an Aries. Jennifer, Jennifer Aiden is an Aries.
Not Teresa, Vicky, Shannon.
There's a lot of Aries.
There's a lot. But see, I was told because I gave someone my birthday, I have a Libra moon, so that brings me balance.
Yeah, that's why it's important to know. People don't realize that, yeah, you can know your sun sign. Why all signs seem so different is based off their birth chart. That moon and your rising makes a big difference. Like I
Yeah,
have a
I didn't realize that. I feel like my it kind of read me to filth though for a minute. And I was like, oh, that's rude and accurate, but you didn't have to say it like that. But
Mm.
I do want everyone to know that believe it in the zodiac to respect your elders and respect the people that went before you because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Without us, you wouldn't have one.
Oh Lord. Okay. You need to put that on a t-shirt, but that's a very long t-shirt.
Right.
I guess you could
Respect
shorten it. Respect Aries. We're the reason why you have a
have a zodiac. Look, respect our placement in the zodiac.
okay. All right, Aries, bossy.
I was gonna say, you know how we are. Sometimes we're doing it. Aries is like this. Either come along with us with what we're trying to do or get rolled over. Like
Mm.
there is no in between. Like if I'm trying to do something, I can't have you here like stagnant. Either you come in or we're gonna roll you over. Not on purpose, but we may come back for you if we have time, or
Uh-uh.
we're normally on to the next thing.
Oh damn. Might come back for you.
Come back. But yeah, so I'm excited about oh, do you plan on going? Because I know that you have. I've again, I watched the videos. Y'all, when I say I'm a fan of people that y'all uh experience on the podcast, I watch their videos. I'm in their comments. I'm all of that. Like I was a fan first. Um, so I know you have fans asking for you to come outside of the United States. Is that a thing that you're trying to do in 2024 or
Um,
2025?
no, I'm definitely trying to do it in 2024. Definitely London.
Oh,
Definitely, I think Toronto.
oh,
I would love to do South Africa, but
that
then
would
I'm
be
wondering if I should just go to South Africa for my trip and then maybe do like an impromptu meetup. I'm not sure yet. But I have a lot of people that watch me in South Africa.
where, and forgive my ignorance, I don't want to say the wrong place, but where is young African
Oh, Young,
famous?
Famous, and African?
Yeah.
I
Where is
believe they film the majority in South Africa, but a lot of the people that are on the cast come from different parts of Africa. I think they just come to South Africa to film, or some of them live there, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I was gonna say, bring young Swanky. I got questions.
Well, Swanky, isn't he? He's Nigerian, so I'm
So he
sure
probably wouldn't be okay.
like
Okay.
everywhere. But I think he's in South Africa. I mean, Swanky could not style me because I can't carry on. I can't carry what he
The way he came to play basketball, that scene, I said, does he have on a cape
of
out here
course.
to play and all these rings and he's out here to play basketball?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I was sad at the dissolution of him and Annie's friendship, but I
Yeah.
said, Annie, you lying a little bit though. Just admit what you did. You was on that three-way call. Okay.
I'm wondering where they're at because at
Me
first
too.
watching the season, I was sort of like, is this just for the show
That's
or is there really an issue? But you just never know. It might be a real issue, but it's translating differently on the reality show. It could be possibly they're competing because they're on a reality show that's American scene, and they're sort of fighting for
mm,
popularity, fighting for like, oh, I'm the most relevant kind of thing. Because remember, Annie, she really was more famous than Swanky because she
right.
and in so many different things. You know what I mean? So she had a level of fame before that and notoriety when you think about her husband.
Right. Out of all of them, right? Wasn't she the most out of all of them, like the most famous or
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know within Africa because I don't want to speak for African culture,
right.
but definitely she was famous in Nigeria. She was definitely famous in Nigeria. But some of the other folks are famous in their own right. I didn't understand that. I forgot her name at this point. She came in season 2 and she doesn't sound African at all,
The
but
rapper.
yes, she has African roots. But I was like, y'all could have left her in
That
Atlanta.
I didn't understand her purpose either. I was like, why is it to create drama? Like, why is she here? She doesn't really have a connection with anyone.
She doesn't even sound like
No, right.
it throws you off because it's like
Yes.
you're watching a show about Africa, and I get it. She has roots there, but she sounds like she belongs in Atlanta. It just and she also just didn't have a great personality.
No,
I think if
no.
she had a great personality and she was likable, then I'd be like, okay, I don't mind her.
Yeah.
But it didn't connect for me.
And she didn't really have to me story. Like there
No.
was no backstory, no heart.
Story was sleeping with the guy.
Yeah.
Diamond. That was her storyline.
I
What's up?
was like, if Diamond doesn't get out of here, like, and what's the other one that did a soft launch proposal?
Oh,
Not think of his name.
because he has a bunch of different names.
But the fact
Uh,
that he soft launched a proposal
I can't. I
and
think
she
that
was
was
like,
her
oh,
storyline too. I just
it had to be. It
nah.
had to be. Now you're gonna make me Google them when I'm done to see if I can see where they are.
I wonder if they'll get a season 3. I was in season 2, episode 2.
Wait,
No.
did they show you a video? Yes, yes. Okay, wait. Well, you've been in so many.
Ah, well, you know.
So now I can be like, that's my friend. That's my roll it back, roll it back. They might as well make you like,
Some people were mad. They were like, why are they featuring someone that's not African? Why did they have a woman on there that
that
wasn't?
wasn't African. And you're I mean,
I guess she did. I don't know if she was born there. I think she was born there. I don't know.
but I do when you saying that, oh no, you're about to make me go back and rewatch because I do remember that. Oh my,
Season 2, episode 2.
and I think because you even you talked about it
Yeah.
during your recap.
Mhm.
Kemp is worldwide. So we going to, you hear me? We going to South Africa.
I would love to go to South Africa. I have to at some point this year.
Well, speaking of trips, so y'all, I brought Kempire on because I wanted to talk about some of the things he's been doing personally a little bit, then get into these shows. So we got y'all all warmed up and ready with Married to Medicine. Oh wait, before I get into speaking of trips, so you're feeling Married to Medicine is good this season?
It's good despite Phaedra.
Okay, okay.
Good despite Phaedra. And it's good even without Quad. I know that's not popular opinion with the Quad squad, but I feel like we are fine without her. I'm kind of getting a little tired of Toya and her dragging Dr. Eugene. I'm like, hashtag surviving Toya.
And and it's so crazy because this probably speaks to me. Toya is an Aries. Um,
Oh, yeah, I always forget that.
she's always been my favorite.
Mm,
And then her and Eugene together. But I'm like, girl, at some point, I get what she was saying about the marriage. Listen, I've been married for 22 years. I
mm,
get it, right? And I get having those conversations, but what I have learned is it's the way that I approach him in my conversation. Not like this date is about you. More like I appreciate the effort that you put into this and the time that we're spending together. But you do know you're gonna have to plan some dates around stuff that I like. There's a way that you can say things without coming off
I
so
feel like Aries, though, they are good about that, but they could also still be cutting.
and I have had to learn like, oh, I shouldn't have said it like that because that's not my intent. Which
Mhm.
is why I don't have a problem sometimes with apologies. People say you should just do an apology and not try to explain, but sometimes I want to explain because no, I really want you to know where I was coming from. So I am getting like Eugene is trying. He's definitely trying. I was glad he took her to get the flowers. She keeps dragging that the group feels so much better. Just
Mm,
say, just say it. I'm glad that quiet because we know that's what you're saying.
yeah. I mean,
So,
look. I mean, let's be honest. Look, Quad brought a lot over the years.
mhm.
I will never take that away from her. I think she's great reality television, but she's not really friends with these women. This is
No.
not the first time she sort of alienated herself from the women. This
Yep.
is second or third time she's done it. And I think they were tired of it because even though all of them may not be the tightest of friends, but they make an effort to have a connection
Yes,
with each other, even when they're not filming. And Quad is not like that. And
I
I
agree.
think what we see, yes, they're talking a lot about Quad because they had to, because now you brought on
Thank you.
Dr. G. But all we saw from Quad this season was her combing a wig and taking a bubble bath and then coming out of a casket. There is
Empire.
no non-funny way to come out of a casket. You can pop out of a
When
casket,
she popped,
you can slither out of a casket. It's always going to be funny.
I told my mom, me and my mom were on the phone. I said, Mom, I don't know if you're caught up. And I was Kim, I was laughing to the point of crying. I watched it twice. I told Corey, you've got to watch this. When the way she popped up, but you have to understand something, Kempire. This is not about a show. This is my life. Don't do this to me. I don't want to hear this mess.
These theatrics. These
Didn't
theatrics.
she say she was the Martin Luther King of something? Or remember last season when she was giving that long, monologue, and she was
Man,
like,
she's given long monologues year after year, season after season.
she,
Always a
she didn't
quality.
know that she was getting a surprise car on her birthday, even though she's the one that bought the car and signed the paperwork. She didn't realize.
Claude is delusional. Do you think she'll come back full time next season after this season?
I think this check was very good. And
Mm.
so I think that she's going to get to the reunion and perform
Oh yeah. Oh
to
yeah.
try to. And I think if they offer her back, she will be back 10 toes down, even if it meant bringing on someone I'm dating, in quotes, as a doctor. I truly believe that they will, that despite the back and forth on social media and her and Dr. Heavenly, I feel like they could have came up with a scheme that Todd set up. You know what I mean? Just to bring her back
But
in.
don't
But
you
I,
feel like they've been trying to phase her out the last few seasons? I don't think Todd
yes,
wants to work with her. And the way Heavenly has exposed how she shows up late and she's not in good favor with production. So
no,
I can't imagine them offering her a contract that she's going to like off the jump. Allegedly, that they have offered her contracts she hasn't liked this season and last season.
right. And she ended up, yeah, yeah. I heard that too. Because as a matter of fact, didn't she start filming late last season? I know that
Mhm.
was this season because she started filming late
Last
last
season
season.
and this season.
It's like, girl, what I don't get with Quad, sometimes I think her ego and the writing was on the wall then. So
Yeah.
for you not to even try in between, I mean, there was a part if you didn't catch it, if you didn't like you had to catch it when Dr. Jackie made the comment, like, I'll call Quad and you may not call me back for weeks. And Quad admitted to it. So even though people didn't like the voting off the island, I get when Dr. Heavenly said, you're using me.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, that's my alarm. Either got to do the kids FAFSA. Oh, they made it so early this year for college.
Oh, I don't miss that at
Let me
all.
do it. Yeah, I'm like, I told my son and my daughter, she's a Taurus. And she's very much, Mom, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. So she already did her half of the FAFSA. She's like, Mom, you need to input your stuff. And then my son, I text him. He's a Capricorn. I was like, hey, can you start your half of the FAFSA and I'll do my half. So I just set an alarm for it.
Yeah, two earth signs. That's so
Yeah.
interesting. The two fire signs needed two earth signs to ground them.
And then in the middle of all that, my oldest is a Pisces.
Oh.
The emotion that comes through this house with her sometimes.
Oh, Pisces.
That is my baby, my firstborn. I'll never forget. She'd wake up. We would joke about it now, and she'd have like her comforter wrapped around her shoulders, and she's sweeping through the house. And my son would be like, "What did someone do to you in your sleep? What is wrong with you?" Because he's very much, but they are very practical. My son and my youngest, the Aries, I mean the Capricorn and the
Oh,
Taurus are very, and that little stubbornness came out when she was little for sure. She could be like that now too, though. But yeah,
yeah.
so.
Me too.
And when y'all have y'all mind made up about something, it's like I'm not even gonna lay before you the facts. I'm just gonna let you because you have to come to that conclusion yourself because I'm not.
Basically, because they're
Cause
always right.
they see my
We
oldest,
usually are.
my youngest, the Taurus will tell my son. Like people used to think they were twins, but their names are Corey and Sky, and because they have a friendship, so they're 2 years apart, but they would hang out. And people would say, "Are y'all twins?" And she would say, "No, he's the oldest, but I should have been."
Mm.
Like she should have been older than him. He's older out of the two, but they're very, very close. Two separate coasts. She's in New York, upstate Syracuse. He's in Orange County, Chapman University. He goes to college with Brandy Glanville's son.
Oh, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah,
They're very different weathers.
very different weathers.
And nice and warm in the Southern California.
And then he comes here and he's like cold all of a sudden. I'm like, boy, you've been out there for 4 years.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Yeah. But it's we were talking about Married to Medicine. See, I got to talking about my kids. It just makes me so happy to talk about them because they're not here, you know. But I will say I love having them here and I love being an empty nester also. So the
I mean,
best
that's
of
a theme this season too for Married to Medicine.
Simone and Cecil, I can understand. She loves them. And she was like, did you see her IG video? And she was like, we have an intruder. And he came over to their house to eat spaghetti. And she's
Which
like,
one?
her BFF, Miles. Wait, is that the youngest one? No, Michael.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
She loves that.
Miles.
Well, Michael is her favorite. Sorry, Miles.
And they are one and the same. Like I remember I would tell my son that him and I were going to do reels on some of their, because they are really funny together. You could tell. Miles texted his dad and said, I need the code. Remember when they were in the confessional parent life? Can you send me the code? Miles is 26 now. 25.
Woo, woo, Miles. Woo, woo, woo.
Did he get a degree?
I don't know. I guess we'll know at the reunion.
I guess so. Yeah.
Reunion.
Yeah. Speaking of, let me ask you, I know we only get a glimpse of their lives, right? There's so much more to it. But Dr. Simone and Cecil at one point were on the brink of divorce.
Mm.
What do you see when you see their relationship now? Because sometimes I wonder, like, did the show keep them together? But did the show really keep them together? You know what I mean? I wonder sometimes.
I don't understand how we got to the place. Yes, it was wonderful TV magic. It was a TV moment. Andy Cohen still brings it up, how we were able to save your marriage at the reunion. But they started working on a relationship book and they stopped working on it because they hit a speed bump with Cecil's friend and they wouldn't address that. So I think they sort of put things away that they refused to talk about.
Yes.
I think they have a friendship. I don't know the future of their relationship.
That's what I'm wondering when their kids get like grown.
Yeah. And they love to act as if they're the relationship experts of the group. I don't look to them. I mean, some people probably do. I definitely can see how people might idolize their relationship over some of the other relationships we see on reality television, specifically Toya and Dr. Eugene. But I don't look to them because I could tell. I'm very intuitive. I could tell there's something off.
There seems to be something off, and it seems like it's more of a partnership. Seems like more of a friendship to me.
Yeah.
And we're partners, which you should be partners with your spouse, but we're partners in raising our children. But and to me, Simone seems. I looked at Cecil today, and look, I appreciate all bodies. Whatever, this end of the spectrum, this end, meaning like size wise, I appreciate them all. But there was a point when I looked at him and I said, he has given up. Like it was like
he's given up. I was waiting to see what you were gonna say. I was like, maybe I should take this sip. I was like, wait, he's given up. What do you mean?
Like Cecil kind of looks drunk to me a lot.
Oh, that's like the nights of drink. He got the little bar.
And those eyes and stuff, and just he had that Morehouse t-shirt on that was sitting out. I said, Cecil has given. I mean, there's a way, like men can keep it together. And he just looked like he just gave up. Like I can see him at the beach with socks and flip-flops. Like I've just given up. Like the slides. Yeah.
Giving up on the relationship or giving up on life?
Just like I'm existing.
Oh,
that's what sometimes I get that from him. And like he'll have fun with his friend, Dr. Simone. But I just wondered how him losing his friendship with Tammy was her name, I think, or something like that. How did that really impact him?
You think
I don't know.
Tammy?
Or even, I don't know, because didn't they say that she didn't even like men? I thought I heard that somewhere. I thought
Tammy's a lesbian?
I thought that because that was one of his argument points to her, I thought.
Why was Doctor? Oh, so that was his way. Like she doesn't even like men.
Yes. I'm going to go back and see because I'm pretty sure he said that at some point. I'm going to have to go back and watch that season. So y'all let me know in the comments. I know that you will if y'all heard that too.
It is possible because I've had situations with friends like that where it's not even about a sexual attraction. It's just that friend doesn't mix well with your partner. It's very possible. She could be a lesbian. Sorry, Tammy, if you're not.
And I think, if that's your name, I think that's your name.
I don't know her name. They always refer to her as Cecil's friend.
I'm telling you, I'm going to go back. I could have swore I saw her name. Was it on Lipstick Alley? Maybe not. But also it could be an intimacy thing too. Like how you said, it may not be a sexual attraction, but if let's say Corey says, oh, you're really close. You know what I mean? Like it could be a jealousy thing where they feel like their partner opens up more around this person. They get a different side of their partner than what they get. And sometimes that's because you get complacent in your relationship and you have this friend, So, but like you said, I just feel like something is off. I enjoy their friendship and their laughter, but it just doesn't translate into something for me. Like, I don't know. But I could see Simone being like, I want to live my life like it's golden. I don't know. I could just see her.
What you mean? What you
Like,
mean?
like when the kids when she feels like the kids are actually settled, being like, I'm out of here.
Oh,
I just feel like she likes the show. Her look has changed from the beginning to now. She's like dressing, well, for Simone, like her makeup, all of that. I just feel like she likes the show and she enjoys it. And I could see her I don't know, I just get that from her. Like she just wants to live her life. But I will say what I admire about her, and I'm sure Dr. Jackie is a good doctor, but with Simone, I see a connection with her patients.
mm.
And I heard her on a podcast say that when her patients come in, she doesn't want them to put her on a pedestal. So she asks them questions about their life, who they are, because she wants them to know that they're equals. They're both women that have had children, having children. And when I like seeing her with her patients, I feel like I would really like her as a doctor.
She definitely, I mean, literally, not this past week's episode, but the previous episode, we literally are seeing Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone with patients, and you see the stark difference between their bedside manner.
Yes.
And I definitely would prefer Dr. Simone or Dr. Jackie because Dr. Jackie does have this sort of air of superiority, judgment.
Yes.
It was uncomfortable. It was
Yes.
uncomfortable to watch, especially because of what she's been accused of in the past and most recently.
And I feel like as women, and I'm sure as men too, you care about how you look and you may fluctuate in weight or whatever, but when you're birthing a child and you are going to gain weight, I would be like on pins and needles every month. I had to go see my doctor. Like, what's she going to say about my weight? I mean, you don't diet when you're pregnant. And I get that you want to eat healthy and do all that. But also, sometimes it's like something has taken over your body. And I want today 2 cheeseburgers. That's it. Just leave me alone. My body needs this. So I would be feeling very self-conscious going to her whenever I got weighed. Like my obstetricians never made me feel a certain way about and how my body was changing. Your body's changing.
Yeah.
So I just feel like with Dr. Jackie, she kind of judges them up against her.
Herself.
Like, yes,
Because you saw her in that literally in the office. She was like, well, this machine says that I am 27 years old. And she's like
yes.
turning herself around. I'm like, lady, this is not the way. This is not the way. This is not the way to do it. Because now this poor patient is feeling like, well, I know when I get on there, it's not going to say I'm 27.
I'm barely fitting in my seats. Like, like, what do you mean? Like, so I just, I don't know. I
You think
wonder,
it's
I would
set
love
her
to.
up for her takedown? It sounds like it. Now we're going to Hilton Head. They're trying to take Doctor
Oh,
down this season.
oh, oh.
About time. No, playing. No,
Well,
playing.
I would love to be a fly, just real quick on the wall of like when all that stuff was going down. Remember when Nene used to say that Cynthia was a different person, like behind the scenes, she would cuss and fuss. Dr. Jackie's probably over there tearing stuff up, cussing and fussing.
Well, she's a Leo, so she's firing. We just don't get to see it.
Because well, I'm waiting for next week. I'm so like people give Sweet Tea a hard time. I am glad that she's not afraid to use her voice. When she was like, I'll handle baby girl, I said, now see, I'm, and of course, I don't want to
But
prejudge.
she knows better than to bring up Sweet T's infertility, or maybe she
I
doesn't.
hope
We
if
will
she,
see.
that will end her. Like, that will be finish her. Like,
Yeah. And my thing is, even if she did say it, they're going to edit it out.
yeah. Because
But that
she's
would be detrimental to her career.
yeah. I wonder what what the White House is thinking.
They
Like
don't
Kamala,
care. They did their thing. They're like,
you know
baby.
what? Right. It's over and done with. All right. So we both agree we're liking Married to Medicine. I feel like it's getting back to the fun the screaming sometimes, I'm like, am I just getting older? Like Heavenly and Dr. Simone and all that screaming. It's like,
Well, buckle up because Andy said at the reunion, Simone was screaming extra hard in his ear this year.
Well, didn't wasn't there was like a something tweeted or posted about the police being called or security being called?
Yeah, because I think the ambulance, I forgot who they said went in the ambulance. Who was it?
Well, Sutton fainted at hers, right?
Oh, yeah, it was Sutton.
but
Some of
with
your
but
reunions happening right now.
Dr. Heavenly something about security.
Oh, so I don't know.
Listen, she better leave Sweet Tea alone. Sweet Tea is from the South. Sweet Tea gives me fighting barefoot on a dirt road energy.
Oh, damn. Well, Heavenly said, look, Heavenly said, I think it's important to say about Heavenly. If she said it, doesn't mean that it's true. She said that certain people, I knew she was talking about Sweet Tea, probably are not mentally capable of being on reality TV. So I'm thinking maybe Sweet Tea had something happen at the reunion. Did you see her on Watch What Happens Live with Neck?
No.
It wasn't good. Don't go and watch it.
Okay. Either one. What was either one of them good?
It was a terrible matchup because they both were trying to show up and perform for Daddy Andy, and it was not
Cringy.
wasn't great. Necker was better than Sweet Tea, but it both of them weren't.
Oh, that is hard to watch when you're like literally watching like, oh gosh, there's something about NECA. And I'm trying not to attribute it to how she came into the season.
Yeah.
But I've been learning to trust when I see these housewives, sometimes my body reacts certain ways. And I'm like, good, no. And NECA gave me a no.
You don't like Necker?
I will say I saw pictures of her on Watch What Happens Live, and she did not look casket sharp with that makeup.
No, she looked good.
She got it together. She took the memo.
Yeah, she looked great. She looked great.
She
Hopefully she'll look great for her reunion too.
Is she tall? She looks tall.
Oh yeah, she looks tall. I don't know. I haven't been in her presence, thankfully.
You think she'll come to the show in DC?
I wouldn't be
February
surprised.
16th?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the housewives.
If you had to pick, if they said Kempire, we want you to have someone from Potomac.
They have asked me that.
Okay, I'm gonna give you two options. Someone to roast and someone to just be there. So you need to pick two people. Like, who would you roast and who would you have?
I would roast regular Robin because she could take it.
Yes.
And I would have Karen, my Taurus sister.
Karen is, I had somebody on today, right before we recorded, and made a good point. How Giselle was refusing to like play, and I'm not going to record with this one, I'm not going to record with that one. And he said to him, she just kind of almost elevated Karen, and Karen has become the nucleus. Like with Giselle not playing, like we see Karen, we could start to see Karen in a different light. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's how I know Giselle's not smart. You're not smart. You're just not smart.
She's not. She's not. And my thing is she has offered nothing. It feels as if she can only offer mess and adding sauce to serious allegations. You can't add anything else. And Karen really has been carrying the show on her back this season. And that's not necessarily a good thing because a lot of people are saying that the season overall is not that interesting. But Karen has really brought some of the funniest moments from the season and some of the most heartfelt moments from the season.
Yes. Well, I was going to ask you, so transitioning from Married to Medicine into Potomac, what are your overall thoughts on the season? And do you think it needs a restructuring?
It definitely needs a change in cast, not complete reboot or anything like that, but there definitely needs to be a change. I don't know if the network or the production company feels as if they could make that change with Giselle, but if she's refusing to film, she's hurting your show. You can't get rid of Karen because Karen's she's getting along with everyone on this cast. So it would make no sense to get rid of Karen.
Yeah.
So for me, it would either be Robin and Giselle or either or, but kind of want to see what Robin would be like without a Giselle.
That's funny because I asked someone, who would you rather see, Robin without Giselle or Giselle without Robin? So it would be interesting to see Robin without Giselle because we've seen it on film. They've gone out after they've gone to different things and they all are having fun and getting along. And who's not there? Giselle.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm watching her clock in and out, and I don't like to see my employees. I mean, my employees, Lord, I don't
Oh,
like to see.
wow. Look, wow. Okay. Your employees continue.
They are our employees. They're supposed to entertain us. I don't like to see them at work, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to see you walking in, punching your time card, and then punching out, and then, you know, fake it a little bit.
Here's the thing. I just was rethinking Robin as a choice. I feel because Robin is still so close to Giselle and they still have work to do with each other, it'd be different if I felt like if either
Mm,
or left the show, there would be, oh, they really wouldn't hang out that much, or be every once in a while. I still feel like Giselle would be sort of puppeteering Robin. So I
yeah.
think I have to go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
I just had the thought.
That's a good point because they are closely tied with work. I'm
And they
speaking.
probably would talk about the show on their Two Broke Girls podcast.
I'm dead.
Mhm.
You mean the podcast where they talk about social media headlines, even though they don't do social media and don't even know what that's about?
Mm. Big hypocrites.
Big
I
hypocrite.
don't listen. Only
I
unless the show sends me a clip of them saying something derogatory about black people.
okay. Oh, you mean like with chicken wings in their
Mm-hmm.
beard and weed and all of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I only
We
listen.
talked about that though during the season.
You know what? We sure didn't. We sure didn't. Nor I just said this. I For the listeners and the viewers, thank y'all so much for listening and hearing me on repeat. But when I have a new guest, I like to get their feedback. You know, last year when Carlos King was on their podcast, and I used to listen in the beginning and then I just stopped. Like, but I had to go and listen and hear this myself. Carlos was talking about why he believed the show was successful. And
Mm.
Giselle said she believed it was successful because the world had not seen light skinned, green eyed black bandits, black women.
What?
Yeah, she said that.
I did not hear about that.
I'm gonna have to go back and find the
What?
episode
No.
if they haven't pulled it because no, not because of me. I've only said it 1,000 times. But yeah, so to me, that says a lot. You think the show is success. Now, Robin said she believed more brown girls were needed on the show, which lets me know she played dumb when it came to that colorism conversation because she said she believed more when Monique came, more brown girls were needed, and she reached out to production to tell them that. Well, why would you think that? Because you know what's going on and you know what it looks like. But then your
Mm.
homegirl sitting next to you saying, well, I believe the show has been successful because the world has not seen light-skinned, green-eyed bandits, black women that look like them that are educated.
Here's the thing. I'm not surprised about Giselle and her perspective because if you look
Neither.
at father, may he rest in peace,
Mm-hmm.
and his political career and some of the things that he said over the years in his political career, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it tracks. So
Yeah.
she might have a subconscious. I can't. It can't be subconscious at this point, but at some point, may have been subconscious bias, but it's there.
I mean, we even think about her saying her kids thought she was white when they
Mm.
were younger. Remember, she said that in the first season. But it's just, I just, the playfulness of what Potomac used to be seems like, it just seems like it's a heavy cloud
Yeah.
that's over it. And I don't even think it's because of the colorism conversation. I believe they could have handled that differently. Or,
Okay.
yeah. So you talked about that on
Mm.
your show. You said that just like VH1, Erica Mena, yeah. So like they could have a conversation. There are some people that I've heard say Candace should have kept pressing it, but I can also understand when you're the only one,
Mm.
it's like that's a lot. When they already want you gone, when the
Not her
feedback,
responsibility.
yeah, exactly. And then you get, I mean, social media plays a big part into it. You know, you've been doing this, but I feel like I can't imagine the amount when she was going through that with Monique, and even then, the people that like that overwhelming social media conversation about you. Now she contributes, yes. The overwhelming conversation, it's like then to have a conversation like colorism by yourself, it's like,
Because you don't feel supported,
yeah,
and you may not have. She's a very smart woman. Don't get me wrong, but it's such a complex conversation and you're in the middle of it. So it's hard
Yes.
to defend yourself, but then also have a conversation and educate others on what that is. And that's not her responsibility.
Yeah. And then without doing it, like you said, you're in the middle of it. So it's hard to do that without emotion when you're in the middle of it.
Yep. Yep. And we already know Candace is very emotional.
Ooh, she's a Sagittarius too, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess if you do her birth chart, I'm willing to bet money that she has a lot of water in her birth chart.
What's his water? Is water emotion?
Yeah, it usually represents emotion. So if might be a lot of Pisces or a lot of Scorpio or a lot of Cancer might be in her chart. I wouldn't be surprised.
My oldest, the one that's a Pisces, she says we were talking on Christmas and my parents were here. It was really nice. And she said that we were talking about emotions and being emotional. And she was like, sometimes she hates that she like can get emotional over things. Like she can look at old pictures of them growing up and tear up. But she said, I also appreciate my emotion. I'm scared for people that can't feel. And I was
Mm,
like, that's a good point. People that don't have emotion and can't, you know. So I was like, you're right. That's a good point.
yeah, I'm not surprised she's a Pisces crying at old photos.
I'm gonna send her this clip and say
Not surprised. That tracks.
that tracks. And my youngest will love you saying you're a Taurus, you're always right. She'll definitely love that.
Did I lie?
I'm gonna say, you are right after your mother.
Ooh. Okay, Aries. Oh,
With the show, the tour, DC, we talked about, oh, you said, oh, you would regular Robin and you said you'd have Karen.
yeah.
I'm going to throw this out there because we've talked about Potomac. We've talked about the season overall. There's another show that I know that you watch. And can I just say this? I love how you are such a diverse channel. I love when you talk about the Black shows, the Love and Marriage, and all that. Like when I first found you, and I was like, oh my gosh, he talks about all of like our because to me it's a different language when we're talking about those shows versus maybe these shows. Love and Marriage DC. I
Mm,
watched it just specifically so I could talk to you about it. I mean, I like the show anyway.
mm.
And I'm probably gonna watch it again when my husband comes home because we watched it last season. Would you want anyone from your cast, I mean, from that cast to come, specifically ones who I'm about to be petty may have stood me up? Just asking.
I wasn't sure if you were going to bring it up, which is so funny because I don't care. I'll spill
Yeah.
tea,
Mm-hmm.
which is so funny. Well, first of all, can you tell your story? Then I'll tell mine.
Okay, so y'all, I
Look,
was supporting her. I'm going to be unbiased and still show support when support is necessary. Ashley from Love and Marriage DC, something about her. I know she can be a little sometimes, but I just really liked her. I think I'm attracted to pretty people, which honestly I find beauty in I feel like every person to a degree has beauty in them, right? But I like the way she just like showed up on camera and was herself. Because sometimes people will try to scale themselves back when they know they can be mean girls versus just being who they are. Loved
mm,
her, loved her, loved her. Wanted her to come on the show for so long and on the podcast, but never reached out because I was like, well, my people expect me to talk about Bravo. But then I was like, I want to talk about everything. Like that's always been my goal. So I'm
mm.
going to reach out. So y'all, I reach out. She emails me back that day. I'm excited. My schedule is flexible. You pick a date and time. She picked the date and time. I showed up. I was looking cute. I sent Kempire the picture. I said, this is me sitting in front of the Zoom, just waiting for somebody to show up.
But and that wasn't the first time.
No, this was the first time. We about to get into
Oh,
all these. That was the first one.
oh,
And then I messaged her right before I closed the Zoom at like almost 30 minutes past and said, if you need to reschedule, just let me know. My schedule is flexible. I get a message the next day. I am so sorry. Business ran behind. And you know what? I get it. Okay, fine. Whatever you're doing, the business was running behind. So we need to reschedule. She picks the date for 2 days later. 2 days later comes. That morning, I'll give her credit. That morning, she sent me a message saying, hey, can we push it back 2 more days? That way I'll be prepared to discuss X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool, no problem. Third day comes. Now, mind y'all know that I do gig work until my conglomerate. so I can get paid, right? It's off the ground. But so when I have a recording, especially in the middle of the day, I stop what I'm doing, making money like 2 hours before, come home, prepare, do all that stuff. So I stopped, came home, got all set up for her not to show up in the Zoom again and not even email at all. That was 3 times.
Wow,
And
Ashley.
and I just was like, my time is valuable too. I get if you couldn't do it, but you stood me up the first time and no call, no show. Okay, I'm gonna give that to you because you know what? Then I reach out, you reach out again and say, hey, let's do this day. You did message me that morning, which I appreciate it. But then the third time you don't show up,
And you haven't
and
heard
never heard from her since.
I've heard from her.
Well, if she comes to your show, I'll say something afterwards, just so you know, not.
Well, no, Ashley definitely watches my recaps of Love and Marriage DC. I don't recap the show because I love the show. I recap it because my audience loves the show, and I force myself to watch Love and Marriage Huntsville and DC.
Well, what did she reached out to you, huh? So, maybe that was probably during the time when she was supposed to be here. No, I'm just joking. Go ahead.
No, she reached out to me before to clear something up that I said, but then recently, because we started recapping the new season, I didn't get to read the message yet, but I just saw the top. I forgot what she said. I'll read it. Exactly.
No, read it. I'm about to say this is breaking news, y'all.
It really is
getting ready to be like,
read it yet to her message. Oh, I got quite a few messages here. Hold on. Wait. Hey, she says, "Hey, babe, I'd love to come on as a guest for your DC event." If y'all can see this camera, well, this will be on the What Else Is Going On
Yes.
YouTube. I didn't even all I saw was the top. I just literally with you guys realized because I was like, does she want to come on the YouTube for the recap? And no, she wants to be a special guest. A special guest.
I almost said itch with a B. What? What? She'll come, she'll show up. I'm gonna be right there at the door. Hi, Ashley.
Look, I like Ashley for the show. I've said it countless times. However,
I agree.
Part of me doing this DC show, first of all, we have a massive DMV following. Shout out to the DMV. Doing these tour dates, like I've said countless times, there have been people, people in the team, people that have their opinions. Oh, you should have this person or you. For me, the Kempire After Dark Tour, and I talked about this when I talked about the first event on my podcast. My intention for this tour wasn't to garner money necessarily. Of course, you want to get paid. It's a business.
Right.
But or to gain some sort of notoriety or popularity, whatever. It was really to meet the community. It all started with the show the meet and greet the impromptu meet and greet that we did in London. That inspired. I was like, oh, I need to get out and meet the community. So I said, but if we do it, I want to kind of do it like a show and then meet and greets and things like that. So that has been the intention. The intention is not, oh, I need to have this special guest or that special guest. Also for me, very much like what Candace said a couple of episodes ago, like I don't need a Drew Sidora at this point. I don't need anyone. Look, we're about to sell. We sold out in New York City off my name alone. We're about to sell out in DC off my name alone. I've already proved I don't need no Drew Sidora. Shout out to all of you that
I want her opening for you in Atlanta.
Wait, say it again.
I want her opening for you in Atlanta.
Drew Sidora? Yeah. Oh my goodness. People want Candace to open for me here in at the DC.
I think I said that.
It's not but
I know what you mean.
Established.
Yeah.
The artist that we had open, Shaw Star in New York City, it's up and coming talent. So right now I'm looking for up and coming talent in DC to feature as an opening act. But DC, we're going to have 2 hours to play. So stay tuned. It's going to be even more time than we had in New York. So I'm grateful.
I want to touch on that because I talked about how you support other content creators. You support other creators in general. And you literally said, I'm looking for up and coming opening acts. And I know that as a creative myself in this genre, I appreciate that. I almost sent you my daughter's, she's like, Mom, I'm not doing that anymore. I was just gonna.
It's such a momager.
But no, seriously. So if y'all listening, Kempire said he's looking for up and coming singer. Is it specifically singers, right?
I'm looking for singers because that's how I started. For me, that's the intention. I told
Okay.
the New York City show that it's very intentional why I chose a singer to open up. It's sort of telling my story through these other people.
Mm.
That's how I started as a singer. Then I started managing, and then I started highlighting singers on Kempire Radio. And then, of course, Brooke represented when I first started, this world of content creation. So it's very intentional
Wow.
why we're doing it the way that we're doing it. So that's why I want up and coming. I don't want and we could easily reach out to Candace, but I'm like, look, Candace probably gonna ask for the entire profit of what we're gonna make. So we're good. Look,
We're good over here. I'm good, love, and joy.
I didn't. Y'all really got breaking news. I didn't realize she was gonna ask me to be on a guest for the show. Girl, we're all right. I'm barely gonna talk about Love and Marriage DC.
And you can't sit your behind down on your Zoom at the appointed time to have a kiki with someone who was your fan. Well, fan is fine. People have turned fan into a bad word, but someone who really liked watching you, who went up for you. You know what? Till you do right by me.
Oh, think about it's gonna fail.
Ashley.
I mean, look, if you don't shoot your shot, you might never get an opportunity. I honestly, like I said, y'all know what the show is. Ashley,
I'm
don't
excited
care about this from this podcast.
I'm sending it to her. Hey, miss you. I will say this because I'm a professional. I would see her, give her a hug, and be like, girl, I feel like you stood me up. I did. Yes, I am We Go podcast. You and your beautiful self stood me up. I'm gonna have to be recording the whole time and put it out as the episode.
You'll be emceeing it, and then she'll be like, "Shoot."
I'll be like, yeah. You didn't think I was
trying to treat people across the board.
Thank you, because
you don't know who knows who and who's friendly with who.
That's what it was. I truly felt like it was because of, you know what I mean? The name.
She wants your spot. She wants your spot.
When I see her, I'll be like, I know you see me on the video.
True.
That is wild that she wants to, that is so, but it just, so I'm going to go back to when you get in a position, like you just said, how you treat people. I watched how you treated people. The fans that can, when we were at BravoCon and this and that, which is why you're able to sell out a tour on your name only. So she could take a lesson from that. Ashley, I had your back. I was ready to fight the Ray Ray fans.
I mean, we're still going to talk about the show. Like, we're still going to talk about the show. We're still going to,
Speaking of, did you like, we've waited, whenever you recap Love and Marriage Huntsville, you're like season, whatever, episode 365. Well, did you like this episode that we waited 365 days to get? What did you think of it?
It wasn't bad. And this goes back to, this is probably why Ashley felt like she could reach out to me and ask me that, because I do like her on the show. For me, she is Love and Marriage.
Ashley, you can't have my spot. Anybody come see you, Otis? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I liked the premiere. I don't love the show. And I think a lot of people, even those of you that are from the DMV that watch my show and my recaps, have said, like, yeah, it's not hitting the way that we thought it might hit based off what we know of the DMV. But the preview for the season looked good.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's only 10 episodes. So I was like, we could do 10 episodes.
It's only 10 episodes. Is it coming back next season?
I don't know. I guess we'll see how it does this season.
Because Love and Marriage Detroit is coming back.
Oh, God. I mean, yay.
Wow. Yeah. So I was wondering, were they trying to phase DC out?
I don't know. I still have not gotten to the bottom of why DC took so long to come out. I'm wondering if this was just at a network level. I don't know.
It makes no sense.
They don't know either, the cast.
Because technically, it's been a year since they filmed.
Yep.
Right? Because it was,
and they filmed their reunion a long time ago.
Right. And we know that alliances have shifted. Winter is now really good friends with Ashley. They're recapping the show together now.
Yep.
She's showing up for the Zoom for that. Ashley, I
Yup.
love you. Um,
You better tag her in this episode.
yeah, Ashley, like I said, I had your back. Speaking of which, I'm an old school, like 90s, like the lip liner with the lip gloss. I
Mm.
got my T earrings. I loved how she had her hair up the day after the part, like the half up,
Ah,
down with the big earrings. I just love that look. I want to say this about DJ Quicksilver. And like you said, it's important to treat people kind, but we know that sometimes when people have a name, they don't treat people kind. But I will never forget this. So he was on a radio show, and he used to have a co-host named Danny Starr. Um, she's been on radio shows before. Then she was in the DMV, and then him and her were on a show together. Actually, I don't know if you heard about it. It was a couple years ago, and their prank went wrong. Like they set up a prank. Danny was part of it, but basically having Danny was like, if you look good as a babysitter, basically, I'm not gonna let you have my kids. So they had the babysitter call in, and it kind of went left, and it seemed like it was real, but they weren't supporting Danny. So Ashley called in to get on quick, like, I can't believe this. Come to find out, Deborah Lee Furness, who was like over it
mhm.
all, like she was mad, like defending Danny, and come to find out it was a prank the whole time, and Danny was allegedly in on it. Got really big. But
Oh.
so before all that, I had wanted Danny on the podcast, and then we went back and forth, finally picked the time and a date, and I drove up there. And Kenya Moore, so we get in, I get in there, she comes out of the studio, and she's like, all right, let's go. And then as she comes out, he comes out, and he's like, Danny, I can't believe you're leaving. And he stops, turns around to me and says, hi, how are you? And that moment to me, I was like,
How
he
tall
could
is
have been shorter than I am, and I'm 5'5", thick in the thighs. Every thug's dream wife see the love in their eyes.
Oh, I just wanted to ask. Sorry.
He is.
Sorry. We know he's small, but I was like, wait, but how tall?
He's fun sized. But
Oh.
is that what Winter said? But
Mhm.
I just remembered that because in that moment, I guess evidently Kenya Moore was coming into the studio, and she was supposed to go to their studio first to promote, but she ended up going to another studio, and they found out. So she was like, I'm not staying to interview her. I
Mm.
have my own interview with her, meaning me. So I'm leaving. And so they were going in the midst of all that craziness. Other people paid me no mind, but he literally made it his business to stop. Hi, how are you? Da da da. And then kept talking. And I just always thought about that. Like people in
Mm.
those positions sometimes don't treat you. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know, he just so when they were coming on the show, I was like, oh, that's him. He was really nice. Like, when I met him or whatever. But I don't know. I still like you, Ashley. So if you still want to come on. But anyway.
She's like, you should reach out again. Look.
No,
Reach out and send her the clip.
I have a no rebooking rule. Now, if
Oh,
my publicist wants to rebook you,
who
who
do you
all
think this is? Maria?
she shares the same email address as I do.
Our
No,
post Maria.
I'm gonna have Winter on. That's what I'm gonna do.
Ooh, Winter goes to the opening of an envelope, so she'll be there.
Winter and Winter
She
can
got a
carry
little bit tick, don't she?
a whole lot. Winter can carry a whole conversation by herself. I've heard her on some podcasts. So she don't even need the host.
Look.
No. For those of y'all not watching, you have to watch. No, you did not just put this picture of Winter up with this fur hat and these blonde Goldilocks and her gutter Barbie, because I believe that's what that was. Oh, no, you did not. With Yusuf and his hips. She said it on Twitter, not me.
Yeah, she really is dogging out this
She's
man.
dragging him. She said, jump scare. Why did you do that?
She said he don't cut his bush. Okay.
How's she know? Y'all weren't supposed to be bumping him. Maybe she was.
No, remember she said that he told.
That's right. That's right. You're right. My bad. I take it back, Winter.
Do you really believe that that they really were abstinent?
I don't know. I know that sometimes people's body language says a lot, and the familiar. I don't know. I felt like they did, and maybe they just weren't saying. I don't know. I don't know. Something about. I mean, she said it, so I was trying to choose to believe her, but I could see them not and just playing along for the camera. We're
But I'm
abs.
wondering, maybe they didn't, and that's why
Oh,
maybe she found out he was cheating.
I want to know how she found out.
I guess maybe I wonder if during the season we find that out, or do we find out at the reunion? It will be interesting because if we don't find out this season and we just see them happy, go lucky, and we know what we know, oh, that might be annoying to watch.
No, it's going to be annoying because we already waited so long that half the stories we already know. We already know where friendships lie. I mean, Ashley just did Carlos King's YouTube channel with Dustin. Like Carlos wasn't even on there with Ashley and Dustin talking about the premiere.
Oh,
And she made it very clear her and Irena patched up after this. And he said, "So where's your relationship with Irena now?" And she said, "There isn't one."
oh,
Yeah. So they're not even friends. So we know. So like we're going into this season watching, but you're doing these interviews and y'all and I've seen Jamie talking on social media and because he loves the social media moment. He will respond
he's
in the
messy.
comments. Yeah. So that's who you should have come.
Oh, as
I'm
oh,
just kidding.
look. I told the folks that are helping me manage this situation. I told them, I said, I know you guys want to invite some of these folks. I said, some of these folks might be buying tickets.
Listen, listen.
I mean,
Arena
they
and
were
her
gonna get their
mom.
feelings hurt.
You know who I would want to Sharella. I feel like she would be so fun, just like in life in general. And I know that she's loud and all, but I watched her episode with Carlos King, and I love how she is just like, I'm going to live my life out loud and be me. There's something about her spirit that I really, really liked.
I said in my recap that that was the energy that was missing in this
Yes.
episode. I
Yes.
kind of I do want to see. I know some people don't like her because she's loud. I'm like, no, that's who she is.
Yeah.
And she's very known in the DMV. I was like, I want to see
Yes.
someone that's really with these folks and they're friends with these folks, and she's really friends with Ashley. So I want to see that
Me
interaction.
too.
I think that would be
And
entertaining.
well, I want to talk about someone who you said we should be, you don't know if we should be mad at Ashley or at Irena and Jamie for bringing the
Oh,
petties.
mm.
And I agree. I was so glad you said it because I said this last season. Joy Joy has an energy in the confessionals that she does not bring to scenes. She's very flat in scenes. And then she gets in the confessionals and is rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, where is that on screen?
The producers aren't there bringing it out of her or giving her or feeding her lines, allegedly.
Mm.
I don't know that for a fact, but we know production does that. So it could be that.
And I've heard people say that she was kind of mean a little bit on Ready to Love. I've seen clips of her and I was like, oh, yikes. But
Oh,
yeah, like, oh, okay. She is me and the hubby used to watch Ready to Love. Interesting love. Maybe is it me? I'm the problem. Like you're thinking it's me. Because I was supposed to have somebody from Ready to Love come on the podcast. She
mhm.
stood me up the first time. Then she came in my DMs and was like, I need to come on. Da, da, da. She's on Ready to Love, whatever Tamika is hosting now from she's on that. She was on the regular Ready to Love and she's on this in my DMs. I want to come on. I want to talk about Potomac, da da da, because she's from the area. She's been on TV. She wants to talk. Okay, cool. She picks the date and time, and then she doesn't show up.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't have time for y'all. Let me tell you, I've interviewed people who I know are busy, extremely busy. And I feel like those are and I'm not saying that they're not, but I feel like the
Well, you're
people
picking
that
the
aren't,
day and time.
yeah, and y'all are very respectful of my time. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, I seen the clips of Joy from Ready to Love, and it was like, oh, okay. So then she's over on Love and Marriage DC, and she's boring.
Mm.
What did you think? Because I was like, if that was Corey, for those of y'all that don't know my husband, I don't know what he would have said. Like, I appreciated the men's conversation at the end and how they kept it real. Like, if it comes down to it and you got to defend my wife, you got to defend your wife. I got to defend mine. It is what it is. But when Clifton said, I'm glad I wasn't, maybe it's good I wasn't there because it could have been worse.
Mm.
Houseway, were you going to jump in?
You so wait. Did you see DJ Quick's face?
Yes.
I was like,
I
he was
thought
a
he was
little
going to
shocked
say
himself. He
something.
was like, wait, do I have that picture? Because he was like,
Please, I hope
what?
you have it. Yes.
Into his salad. He's like, what? Wait, what? Who? What? Where?
Kempire, when I saw that, I was like, he better be good. Quick just kind of let it go.
No.
And maybe that's why it was two men, because two women, I'd have been like, well, what did you mean? So what, you would have jumped in? Like, what do you mean? It could have went worse. Or maybe not, depending. But I was really, really shocked. How do you feel about it? Because I get how Joy feels. Her secret got out, which, why are you keeping a secret? Oh, you want to own to pay for the wedding. But why are you keeping it a secret? Oh, you want to own to pay for the wedding. But I see how you're upset. I do see how Ashley apologized, but I think the apology was rough around the edges, but I kind of feel like that's just Ashley. So if you know Ashley, then you know she meant the apology, maybe. I don't know. How do you feel?
I do feel as if Ashley owed her a sincere apology because that is her story to tell in
Mhm.
regards to her wedding. I don't believe Owen was going to pay for anything. Especially because they were like, I mean, we're probably only going to show 10, 15 minutes of this wedding anyway.
Right.
So I get why Joy might be frustrated, like, wow, you stole my opportunity to share my news and the
Mhm.
wedding and things like that. So I can understand that frustration because now you've sort of set me up in regards to a show you allegedly recommended me for.
Right.
Um, Now I can't have my story play out because I'm boring otherwise.
You are right about that. Cliff brings more than she does. Like, I feel like she's stiff, like, except for when she was like, don't put your hands on me, Ashley. Like, except for that part. I feel like she's stiff, and I would have wanted the Ready to Love Joy on.
But she got a lot of backlash because of that Ready to Love Joy.
That's
And maybe
true.
that's why she sort of pulls back.
But then it's like, then do you belong on this
Rowdy.
show?
No.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look, I'm doing your sound check. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Sorry, Joy. See
It
you next
doesn't.
time. Do you think that she'll come back? If they come back.
I feel like there's a part of Cliff Ton that likes to be on TV.
Oh yeah.
So
She
I
got
think that they
that
would
beard
definitely,
oil.
yeah, that beard was shining though. I said, was that the lights? Or because it was shining. You got a picture?
Yeah. It worked.
It does. It definitely does. Oh my gosh, it definitely does. He has a very nice voice too. Go ahead, Cliff Ton with the beard oil. When Ashley was in that confessional, and she was like, you should invite them to the show and have him bring you some oil. When
No.
y'all should see Kempire looking at me. When Ashley was in the confessional and was like, jealous of what? I don't have a unisex beard oil that I want. What I was like,
She called her contestant green dress and contestant
yes,
teddy bear. I was like, this is why Ashley's great for the show.
yes. And when her and Quick were in the car and she was getting ready, when they were getting ready, I was like, shout out to Wes, Governor Wes, congratulations again. I voted for you. But I was like, but I did love how Ashley was like, this, we're on our way to our friend who's governor. This is what I admire.
Mm.
And once again, she looked beautiful, very relatable doing your makeup in the car. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I guess it may not be a phone show, or it may be, depending on how the rest of the season goes. You have those shows you watch, you're gonna be scrolling on your phone. More
Mm.
interested in the commentary on it than the show.
Well, unfortunately, I have to watch it and recap it. I will be talking about it when I get to DC for my DC
I'm
show.
excited. Good. Because it'll be what, like 3 episodes in by then.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'll be, and notice they're going on well, they went last year. So it's kind of like Housewives-esque where they're going on the cash trip and all of that stuff. So I'm excited. Like I said, I just wish that I'm a person who likes, if I know behind the scenes stuff, great. But if not, great. But it's just watching it play out on social media and it being so long ago. It's like, we know how this ends up.
Yeah.
But the social media commentary between the cast will be interesting as it's, because Ashley has already said when people are determined to paint you a certain way.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Was it you? I've heard someone saying that they wondered if Ashley would leave the show after this season.
I've
Like,
been, I was like, I've been wondering if she's. I mean, based off the things that she said on social media, I'm sort of like, are you coming back?
yeah, because if they are doing a disservice to you, then it's like you don't, want to stay on. Ashley, I really liked you. I wanted to come to a Christmas party. Anyway.
She barely coming to your podcast. You think you're gonna get invited to the Christmas party? Well, after I've shared this, I'm definitely not invited to the Christmas party.
How did I get ate up on my podcast? Why you tried to Nicki me? No, you tried to Megan me because Nicki's.
Ooh, that has been a situation. Go to sleep, Nicki. Go to sleep.
Somebody said, "Will somebody take? Well, can it take her phone?"
Oh my gosh. Someone said, look, I'll say it here. The comment section's a mess. And someone said,
Yes.
oh God, I wish I remember it word for word. But basically they were saying if she continues on being this childish, she won't be her husband won't be able to stay in the house with her. I was like, y'all are terrible.
Well, wait,
Then I said to myself, ooh.
there was a comment because her dad, I guess, was hit. And there
Yes.
was a comment that was like, if Meg comes back and says they had to peel your dad off the road like a sticker, don't I said, oh.
But my thing is, look, that's not right. However, what Nicki is saying on social media about her mom and things, that's not right either.
So you are.
All this is over Megan's Law being
right.
Said.
Whose parent, whose dad, her father now is coming out saying he might sue.
Yeah. Which, mind you, it brought a lot more attention to Megan's Law. A lot of people that didn't even know what it was.
And they know. Yeah. And it wasn't that the goal, like for people to know what Megan's Law is. What you started out in music, you were a singer, you manager, Kempire Radio, you've interviewed the greats. Is there a line in battle rap? And I was listening to a clip from Charlemagne the God, and what he said made sense because I was asking myself, am I looking at this from the age that I'm at now? I would normally say no, just like in an argument. Yes, there can be reactions to an action that seem overboard, but I taught my kids, you can't throw a rock. And then if a person throws a boulder, you're the victim because you started it. But I heard Charlemagne say 20 years ago, if you had to ask them, he would say, nothing is off limits. But now he's older, and he feels like there are certain lines that you don't cross. What do you think in hip hop? Are there lines that should not be crossed, or is everything up for grabs?
Well, I'm not a hip hop head.
Okay.
So I talk about, some of the battles that happen, but I always preface these conversations by saying I'm not a hip hop connoisseur like that. I know a lot about it, but in creativity, I hate to put limits on what people are going to say and do because I feel like there is this sort of like gray area, even in comedy. Even comedians are sort of like, oh, I can't say this anymore. Because we have to remember when they're saying some of these things, I don't think that it's necessarily something that they mean. Like even the Megan's Law thing, I think they're just trying to be clever and then take a shot. It's sort of like that back and forth. So I get why people are sort of like, well, there should be a line. You shouldn't be, saying certain things. But I think when you're being creative, putting a limit on people's creativity or within the hip hop culture, I'm like, and that's why I preface this by saying I'm not in that world. I'm not an MC. So I'm not going to tell you what you should and should not do because I didn't create that world or that culture. There I go twerking on the fence religiously. But no, I mean, that's how I truly feel though. I know some people are like, oh, just pick a side. No, I truly feel like I can see where people are like, well, no, it's a different time. We know better. Because I'm looking at some old episodes of Big Brother and I'm like, some of the things that they said back then that was okay socially, you're like, oh, hell no, you would never say anything like that today. But like I said, this is their creative space. But at the end of the day, they're putting their creative space to the world. So the world will react, the world might be offended. So you just have to deal with it. I feel like Nicki went too far. I think Megan, really, the majority of the song was focused on her ex. But for Nicki to be so triggered by one line in a song that you went on for days about it, you let the world know how bothered and insecure you are about your position. in this
Mm.
hip hop. And you shouldn't be because you've proven that you're one of the icons. You're
Yeah.
up there with the Little Kims and the Jay-Z. Like you're up there. But
Yeah.
you've allowed this one line in a song
Mm.
to unravel you. And that
Literally
a lot of
unravel.
people that liked you go, huh, hmm.
Wow. That is, like you said, we're watching you unravel. And some of the things she said when she talked about basically she got a Grammy, but her bars weren't. It's
Mm,
like that's actually she could have actually read you with that.
mm.
You don't have one, and she has. So to me, it was like, oh, make it make sense, Nicki.
I mean,
Like,
she could have went in. Look, Megan had a whole kind of a lot of stuff that she could have said about
yes, yeah,
that she did not. That's so, but for that one line, and I love the fact that Megan has not said anything
me
since.
too.
She released the song and she just posted beautiful pictures of her. She was out having a good time with Victoria Monet. She's learned from the best. Remember, she signed to Rock Nation, which is owned by Jay-Z, and I'm sure ghostly owned by Beyonce. She's learned from the best. They
Yes,
probably like, don't answer, don't respond. Just announce that you have a world tour coming up and a new album.
and keep it pushing. And
That's
Nicki
how
is
I would move.
Nick. I said, that's a lesson to be taken. Like, move on. I've said what I've said. She and because people are like, I saw someone said, Meg, you basically you. I'm paraphrasing, but basically you threw the first whatever, and now you're not going to answer back. And it's actually like, well, she's actually responding to the things that people have said, the slugs that
Yeah.
have been at her. And I like that she said it with her whole chest. And then, like you said, put my phone up. And I think that's what's driving Nicki even more. Like when you're arguing
Silence.
with a person. Yeah.
But that's how I work. That's how I work. I'm like, I'm not going to respond to you. I'm going to make my silence. I'm going to be like this. It's passive aggressive, which is perfect because it drives someone like Nicki insane. It's like, oh my God,
Insane.
you're not going to respond. You're not going to respond. And I'm going to put out a song and I'm going to tell you how many records I'm breaking.
I
Megan,
just,
live your best life, girl. I want to see Megan get a number one hit. I want to see her get another Grammy this year.
yes.
She's nominated, but look, next year I want this album to be, I want the
Number
tour to
one.
sell out. And she's young. She's got a long way to go.
Yeah. And I love the title Hiss because that's a warning. That's a warning
Mm,
shot. If this is
mm,
her warning, y'all don't, it's like you don't want the venom. If she comes out with another one, I
mm.
want it to be called Venom.
That's deep. That's deep. And it rhymes with this.
Mm.
Just saying.
So, but if her next album is called Venom, we said it on January 30th, 7:22 p.m. I will be coming for my coins, Meg.
You can't just give her that one.
You know what? I'm gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm gonna let you have that one, Meg. I'm gonna let you have that one. But yeah, she is, oh my gosh, just watching someone in real time unravel. It was almost sad.
It
Like
is.
you're going,
And you saw the video that I posted about her going to sleep because I was just like,
yes,
I said, I speak for the Barbs. I knew when I posted it on Twitter that the Barbs were going to come.
did they come?
They did. I mean, it's a smattering. But here's the thing. When I start seeing a post get a lot of attention, I put it on mute. Thank God. Thank you, Elon, for the mute button. Even though
That is smart because then I'm not dealing with that.
they're fighting in an empty room. You're fighting in an empty room.
Like
Whoa,
Nicki.
whoa, whoa. Barbs. Whoa, whoa. You're fighting in an empty room. You are swinging, and I have no idea.
I know, but look, they're doing like she's doing, fighting in an empty room
Oh, damn.
because nobody's fighting back with you. Mr. Petty, come get your wife's phone.
I think he's probably just as bad.
Yeah, remember that with Offset?
Yeah. Showing up outside with his boys, which resulted in him getting in trouble.
Sir, like dumb. What do they always say in rap? Are you dumb? Are you dumb?
Shout out to Remy Ma. Are you dumb?
Whatever. Man, Sheether was something I listened to probably 6 times.
That was some epic rap battling.
I was like, Remy,
Which is funny because didn't allegedly, I'm just gonna say it's alleged because I don't know it for a fact, didn't because that's not available on streaming. I
No.
believe allegedly, I'll just say allegedly that Nicki was part of the reason why it's not available on streaming. So it's so interesting when they denied her the opportunity to use the beat that she wanted to use for Bigfoot. I was like, ain't this some karma?
Ain't that karma? And isn't it karma? She made I don't know if it was her song or in her tweets because it all ran together.
Hmm.
A comment about Meg responding, like, why it's taking so long for Meg to respond. Ma'am, it took you almost a month to respond to Sheether, and you had to go and get other people.
Ooh, ooh.
So, like, there's so many contradictory statements with Nicki. And I'm like, I've liked her music too, but her as a person, you know who's good friends with her? Brooke Bailey from Basketball Wives.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But again, I guess you don't. And good friend is like, is it a person that's in your life, or
Seems like it is. They seem
yeah. I don't. Nicki just seems very. She seems like she has a history of whenever someone that I'm sorry, the way she goes after some of the ladies, it's because you perceive them as a threat.
yeah. Or people that aren't, kissing your feet.
Yes, yes. She has come off her chariot and thrown tomatoes.
Mm.
It's like, but oh my God, that when that song came out, I was like, oh my God, Nicki, this is oof.
Yeah.
And to have some of your own barbs again, being like, oh, there were some that were like, oh, we love that Nicki's playing.
Yeah. I mean, of course, those folks who are probably like our age, if not older, doing this, it's like, okay, look, you can love who you love, but I think sometimes the barbs take it to a different level. And look, Barty Gang too, because
Yeah.
apparently they were doing the swatting at people's homes and stuff like that. Like they go a little, not a little, they go overboard.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem. But I don't feel like Nicki has not encouraged it either.
Well, I was gonna say she signals them. I don't know if you saw,
Oh,
but
she's
there
pulling out the
was,
receipts.
listen, I was okay. Nicki Minaj, this was yesterday.
Mm.
Nicki Minaj claims TikTok silenced her for attacking a gossip account. So there's a gossip account. Um, oh, this was Thursday, 25th, the 25th. She says they are allowed to bully you, harass you, swat your home with a toddler multiple times and not be held accountable. 5 companies paying to slander you, never defending yourself against lies for years and years. But the minute you do, you're immediately silenced, she wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter. Then where is okay, here it is. Nicki was upset with TikTok user Celebrity TEA Blinds, who she posts blind items about celebrities. The chart-topping rapper sent a DM to the gossip account before targeting the user in the comments on TikTok. From what I'm hearing, the person had a picture of Ariana Grande as their avatar. So she might have
Mm.
been thinking that it was actually Ariana Grande.
Ariana.
This is what
Oh,
she
oh.
said. This is Nicki to this person. Allegedly, they are sucking someone's dick and being paid to try to tear down a tour. Sold out, sold out, sold out. Allegedly, you have a disease, question mark. Allegedly, gloom and doom awaits you and the person you say you love. Allegedly, I'm doing an interview to discuss in 3 days. Should I tell your little married man secret? Well, in 3 days, you'll see the interview. I do. His wife deserves this. No. Then, so she responded by accusing the person behind the account of sleeping with a married man, hinting at a defamation lawsuit. You are allegedly being paid to attempt to say negative things about my sold out tour. Allegedly, I'm going to expose you. Just sit back and watch UGZ. You can't embarrass me because there's nothing you can say that the people haven't heard. But now I'll share your alleged tea and the executives funding you. Allegedly, the company has been paying you to pretend these are just random. But allegedly, there are 5 superstars who are allegedly going to sue you. Allegedly, close your legs to married men. You are allegedly racist. Allegedly, you do drugs. This is all caps. Allegedly, you do drugs with a married executive. Allegedly, and God is about to pull you down to the pits of hell until you apologize. Allegedly, allegedly, stop allegedly sleeping with married men. Your karma is near. My prophecies are always spot on. Repent, wicked woman. Repent.
What in the shrines?
This
Holy
is
Ghost fire?
rain down on us.
What is going on? She has a tour that she's supposed to be preparing
Yeah.
for.
And that is on, she's saying all that. And oh, and then I'm sorry, where, oh, the, because what I wanted to get to was she said, oh, where is the one? She was like, Barb's, take a stand or something like that. And
Mm.
I was like, oh, she's called, oh man. It was basically, it was something like that. She was calling the Barb's to take a stand for her. You're encouraging this behavior.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
I just, I like, Nicki. And then she said she's got five more. It's going to take you five to her one.
Her one line.
One line. One line. And then I think people are, like you said, people are getting out of hand on both ends because Monique Slaughter from
Oh god.
um, Love and Hip Hop, which I wish she would be quiet, but she made the comment, that Megan's parents should sue because of the Megan's law, blah, blah, blah. People were in her DMs like that they were going to R and hurt her and her children.
Oh my
And then
god.
she came online and was like letting people have it and was like, you come around here, like, you better ask about me, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I could also get the law involved. So
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
I don't know if the barbs forget that threatening someone online is illegal.
doxing someone, just like you dox them, you don't think they can get your information?
Mm,
It's crazy. It's definitely. Imagine if back when Jay-Z and Nas and all the others, like if we had social media.
mm. Maybe
I
it was a very different time. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know because of no social media.
Yeah. And I'm glad
I
for it.
Diddy.
Thinking he's big red dangling people from
Mm-mm.
balconies, telling them my office hours are.
Mm-mm. I can't.
Oh
Lord.
my gosh. Oh, okay. And before I let you go, I know I've had you for like an hour and some change, like almost 2 hours.
I'm like an hour.
And some change. Almost 2 hours. I wanted to ask you about your trip. You went to Tokyo and the pictures you posted, it looked so beautiful. And you really looked at peace. You slept in a Buddhist temple, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was that experience like?
The Buddhist temple was actually quite swanky because we didn't sleep in the actual temple. This temple grounds had a hotel that was very nice.
Okay.
But it was very, not too much simple, but nice.
Okay.
Um, so that was in Kyoto. I love Japan. I get why so many people that go to Japan love Japan.
Okay.
Food, the culture, even with all those types, all of the amount of people, it is still just very efficient. I talk all about this on my podcast.
Yes.
So I actually give a lot of tips in regards to it because there's just so much that happened because I was there for like 2 weeks. But it was a great experience. I would definitely go back. I mean, the only reason why I probably wouldn't go back like yearly is because it's a long flight. It's a
Okay.
flight. But I enjoyed it. I would definitely go back.
What was your favorite part? Like, is there a defining moment like on your trip that you were like, wow, like I'm here and this is happening?
Well, literally, like on the first full day that I was there, I did a tour and I connected with these two other folks that were traveling alone. And we spent a lot of my trip doing different things together. We even went to Kyoto. We rang in the New Year together. So
That's
that probably was like the highlight, meeting, new friends. I know a lot of people are scared to solo travel and things like
Mhm.
that. But sometimes that is the benefit of traveling on your own is that you'll be a little bit more open to making new friends.
I agree. So you just be meeting new friends wherever you go, huh?
I
Hmm.
mean,
No, I'm joking. No,
I
I'm joking. I'm
I
joking.
have. I've met quite a few new
I was
people
talking
from
about me.
traveling
Uh-huh.
solo. Hmm?
I was talking about me.
You know, I'm a very friendly person.
No, but that is it when you can connect with people just on a different level. Where were they from? Like were they
One was actually from New York, and he surprised me and came to my New York City show.
that is so see, that is really awesome. Oh wow,
Sweet,
that's really cool.
real sweet. And the other woman she's from California.
Okay. Was there anything that surprised you? Like I know you did your research before you decided to go. Was there anything that when you got there that kind of surprised you in a good way, in a pleasant way?
Um, I mean, I kind of knew a lot of the stuff, but definitely it's very clean, very organized.
Okay.
It's really cool to just kind of see the different things on how they do things differently and more
Okay.
efficiently there. I did meet a couple of subscribers that live in Tokyo.
They
So
recognized you?
yeah, so
Oh,
that was cool. Um, what else? I mean, it was such a lot. It was for 2 weeks of doing all kinds of different
okay.
things. Um, but yeah, it was cool. I loved Japan. I would definitely go back.
If you decided to go back, do you think you'd want to do more than 2 weeks? Would you go like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks so you could explore more? Or do you think 2 weeks is good?
I think 2 weeks is good, but if I did do more weeks, I probably would add in other countries that are nearby, like Australia and things like
Okay.
that. So that would probably be the only reason why I would add more than 2 weeks. But I think the 2 weeks was pretty good. I mean, there are other parts of Japan that I could see. I only saw I mean, I saw a few different parts. I saw Kyoto. There was another place that I went to. I can't remember the name. So it was a couple of things. So and there was still a lot more to see in Japan that I didn't get a chance to do.
Okay. Yeah. Again, your pictures are beautiful. My daughter, my oldest one, shout out to my ladybug Ariel. She was in the Air Force and she was at Minasawa, I believe. She was stationed in Japan. And when she would send me pictures and videos, it looked like it wasn't real.
Mm.
Almost like when you're in New York at night, like at midnight, and they have the big TV, like in 5K or whatever, and everything just looks so clear and beautiful. That's what it looked like.
Well, New York, I mean, Tokyo puts New York to shame because there's so many areas in Tokyo that represent very much like Times Square, but it's like
Really?
yeah, it puts it to shame. Like our Times Square in comparison to their situation,
Okay.
it's like everywhere. Like in Shinjuku, you have something very much like that. In Shibuya has something very much like that, and they have like these 3D screens and stuff like that. So
Wow.
everything's
Okay.
a little bit bigger there.
It's not for no reason, but it's never a place that had been on a list. How you
Yeah,
have your list of things to go, but just seeing all the pictures. But one thing I picked up, so there is a lot of people there.
there is, but despite having a lot of people there, it's very clean. There are no
Okay.
garbage cans anywhere besides maybe near like their vending machines and things like that. But for me, that is all about their culture. They're respectful. They don't throw garbage on the floor. Like it's a mentality.
Okay.
I mean, that's not something we could do here in New York City, but unfortunately. But also their train system is so efficient. I literally just watched a video comparing the New York City subway to Japan, and because their subway is so efficient, it's because they have invested decades of making it efficient.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's actually was very pleasurable to. I mean, anytime I travel, I feel like the train system anywhere outside of the U.S. is so much better and
Than
such
ours.
much more efficient, especially in Europe and now in Japan. Japan definitely, definitely.
Last question. If you were presented with a trip, Kempire, we know you like to travel.
Mm.
Um, you can pick your bucket list place. And I want you to take 4 housewives with you that you would want to travel with, not necessarily because you'd want to get close to them, but because you think they'd be a good time.
Mm.
Where would you go? And who are the 4 housewives that you would take?
Where would I go?
Bucket list.
Um, a safari because I haven't been to Africa yet. So a
Oh,
safari in Africa, maybe Kenya. I mean, like it's
oh,
a country. Um, but no, I don't want to travel with Kenya.
Kenya and Kenya.
We did about no, no, no. Karen.
Oh,
Um, I'm not gonna even say candy because I feel like candy would be like, oh, it's time to eat. Um, which I can relate to as a tourist.
but you could tell her go find a studio so we can make some beats.
No. Look, no. Um, okay, so Karen. Who else? I'm trying to think of all the housewives. I'm just trying to think of, okay, maybe Chanel Ion
Oh, yes.
should be fun.
And beautiful. Oh, you know what? I was thinking she's beautiful too, but I thought you said that good old Lisa. I was going to say, yeah, she's beautiful. Eye candy.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think about like fun.
Fun. Okay.
It would be fun. And not to say that Lisa wouldn't be fun,
No,
but
I know what you mean, but you know,
she got babies.
period. Dot.
Like we need people that aren't going to be thinking about their babies during.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So sorry, Lisa, you have to stay home. So Chanel, we have Karen. Who else? I'm trying to think. Oh, Garcelle. Definitely Garcelle.
Oh,
Definitely Garcelle.
Chanel, Garcelle, Karen, and one more.
I know people are thinking like, why you choose like any of the other ladies that aren't that are white?
Because that's not who we're going with. Okay.
And then I thought Dr. Tiffany Moon. I just thought Dr. Tiffany Moon. I know she's not currently on any of the shows, but she was on Dallas. And I think she's smart and she likes to shop. And I think she'd be fun. She has young kids though, but she'll be strong.
She would definitely be strong, I think. And you wouldn't make her jump in a pool to prove her friendship.
No, because I can't swim either.
I'm with you on that. That is a good list. And a safari. I'm already cackling in my head at Karen and a safari with the straw hat on. With the I could see her with the straw hat with it. That would be so fun. And then y'all all have to come back to my podcast and talk about it.
And look, for those that I may have not mentioned, I just didn't think of you at the moment.
That's a better explanation.
Now I think about like I wouldn't mind inviting Kenya, but like I said, she has a young child.
Yeah. And I only gave you 4. So it's not like, I only gave you 4.
Sorry, Kenya.
Sorry, twirl. Sorry, twirl. Yeah. And no kids are allowed. So you can't bring Brooklyn and have her in another room with somebody else. None of that.
No.
Listen, even when my kids were younger, I was never of the belief that they had to go everywhere. No. So Kempire, thank you so much for coming on, for letting me take up your time, for sharing about your trip and your tour. Again, y'all, DC, February the 16th. Go and get your tickets. You can go to Kempire's page. I'm going to put the link in the episode description, in the YouTube description, and I'm going to have it in my story. So make sure you guys go. We are going to have such a good time. Any up and coming singers, where can they send links to their stuff to you?
KempireDaily@gmail.com.
So y'all, I'm about to send mine.
Oh, here she goes. Delete.
Be like, why does this voice sound familiar? But y'all, make sure y'all go. Make sure y'all come out. We are going to have such a good time. 2 hours. I'm looking forward to it. We hope to see all of you beautiful faces. Y'all, thank you so much for spending this time with me. We will talk to y'all later. Bye.